Good day, everybody. I hope that you're well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on adverbs. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts. We're doing grade 6. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of adverbs. All right, so our chapter is adverbs. Our subject is English language arts. We're doing grade 6. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of adverbs is to identify adverbs. So we are going to identify adverbs. So in our previous lesson, we compared adverbs, right? And adverbs, it basically tells us about the noun, right? It tells us about the noun, which means it tells us about the person, animal, place, or thing. It describes that noun. But when it comes to an adverb, then an adverb, it tells us about the verb. It tells us how the action is being done. And we said an adverb is a word that describes or it modifies a verb. So an adverb, it is a word that either describes a verb, or we can say it modifies the verb, the action. It can even describe or modify an adjective or even another adverb. And when it comes to adverbs, right? Then adverb, it tells you either how something is being done, it tells you when something is being done, where it is being done, to what extent, or even to what degree. That is adverbs. It tells us how something is being done, when, where, to what extent, or to what degree. All right. So when it comes to some of our adverbs, it tells us how. So some of the adverbs, it tells us how. These adverbs, it usually ends in ly. So it's like how something is being done. It's either being done beautifully, carefully, hurriedly, splendidly, right? That basically tells us how something is being done, or how well something is being played, or how somebody looks, right? And that word, our adverb, it ends in ly. And if we look at an example, it says, how well does she play the accordion? How well does she play the accordion? And we can say she plays the accordion splendidly. So splendidly, and it ends with an ly. That shows us how well she plays the accordion. Splendidly. That is why I'm saying splendidly, carefully, hurriedly, beautifully. Those are adverbs that tells us how something is being done, or how something looks. But it just tells us how. The next one, some of our adverbs, they also tell us when. Some of our adverbs tells us when something is being done, when, you know. And it says, when will he perform? So when will he perform? And we can then say that he will perform soon. So soon is the word that tells us when he will perform. And as you can see, it does not end with an ly. It is just soon. That word soon just tells us when he will perform. So when will he perform? Soon. All right. Then some of our adverbs will also tell you where, like the place. Where? Where did she go? It's like the place. Where? We can either say she went downstairs. So downstairs is basically our adverb. These are adverbs that tells us where, the place. Downstairs, we can even say that she went next door. She went away. She went abroad. But basically, anything that tells us where, that tells us basically like the place, that is the adverb that tells us where. It's the place where it is taking place. So downstairs is our adverb. And then we also have some of our adverbs that will tell us to what extent or to what degree. To what extent or to what degree. And the example is, to what extent or degree is he reasonable? To what extent or degree is he reasonable? And we can either say he's not reasonable or he is reasonable, right? But it basically just tells us to what extent or to what degree. And once again, we said an adverb is a word that either describes or modifies a verb, the action word. And we said adverbs, right? It describes a verb, it describes an adverb, it describes an adjective, or it modifies the verb, the adjective, or the adverb. And it tells us either how, it tells us when, where, or to what extent, or to what degree. And we said we made an example of an adverb that tells us how something is being done beautifully, carefully, splendidly, hurriedly, frankly, frequently, boldly, eagerly, gladly. Those are but a few examples of adverbs that tell us how. And we said some of our adverbs that tells us when, right? For example, soon, Now, when it can be today, daily, things like that. And then some of our adverbs that tell us where, tells us the place, downstairs, upstairs, east, under, somewhere, right, and so on. And then to what extent or to what degree. All right. So now we're going to a plus students.ca, and we're going to identify adverbs. We're going to identify adverbs. And once again, we said adverbs, it tells us either about a verb or describes a verb or it describes and modifies a verb, an adjective or an adverb. And it tells us either how something is being done, where it's being done, when it's being done, to what extent or to what degree. All right, so now we're going to select three adverbs. We're going to select three adverbs that either tells us about the verb or describes the verb. So we need to select three adverbs. Three. It says, although Zia seldom cleans the bathroom, she almost always straightens her bedroom. We need to select three adverbs. Three. So although Zia seldom cleans her bathroom, she almost always straightens her bedroom. Almost always straightens her bedroom. So we need to select the three adverbs. Three adverbs, keeping in mind that our adverbs, they either tell us how, it tells us when, where, to what extent, or to what degree. So if we were to select the three adverbs, right? So although Zia seldom cleans the bathroom, she always, so maybe always is a word, she almost always straightens her bedroom. Almost always straightens her bedroom. Straightens is one of it. Yes, definitely. What is another word? Always is another word. So we need to select the three adverbs. And we said our three adverbs is, do we have the word? Oh, seldom. It tells us how often the seldom cleans, always cleans, and straightens. Those are our words. So seldom, almost, and always. Sorry. Seldom, almost, and always. That basically is our adverbs. We now need to select three adverbs within the sentence. So we need to select three adverbs. It says, although Alec truly enjoys tennis, he very seldom plays the game. Said, although Alec truly enjoys tennis, he very seldom plays the game. So, although Alec truly enjoys tennis, he very seldom plays the game. We need to select the three adverbs within that sentence. And if we were to select our adverbs, All right. So if we were to select our adverbs, right? Yes, very seldom is one of them. So we said it is seldom, tells us how often it's being done. All right. And we can say, although Alec truly enjoys tennis, he very seldom plays the game. And we have seldom, truly, and very. Those are our adverbs. Yes, we said it's truly, very, and seldom. Truly, very, and seldom. That is our. All right, where now we said that the architect who just restored that apartment building won an award for his work. So, adverbs. The architect who restored that apartment building won an award for his work. All right, so adverbs. And remember, we said when it comes to adverbs, it either tells us about the verb or it describes the verb. Those are adverbs. It either describes the verb or tells us about the verb. It even tells us about the adjective or the other adverb. Right? And once again, we said that our adverb, it tells us how something is being done. where it's being done, when it's being done, to what extent, or to what degree. So we need to select just one adverb, just one. And if we were to select our correct option, our adverb, one adverb, then it says the architect who just restored. So just restored that apartment building won an award for his work. Just restored. So just. All right. So now we're going to our test. We're going to identify our adverbs. We're going to identify the adverbs. I remember adverbs are words that either tells us about the verb, it tells us about the adjective, or tells us about another adverb. And we can identify adverbs by it saying, with our adverbs, it tells us either how something is being done and it ends with an ly, when, where, to what extent, or to what degree. All right, so now we're on to the test where we're going to identify adverbs. It says we need to select three adverbs. Although Zia seldom cleans her bathroom, she almost always straightens her bedroom. So is it option one, where we say that our three adverbs are either seldom, almost, or always? Or is it cleans almost always? We need to select. So option one, which is seldom, almost always. Or option two, cleans almost always. And if we were to select our correct adverbs, then option one is correct. Seldom something happens, almost or always. So well done. Well done. Option one is correct. Option two, the next one says select one adverb, only one. It says Dr. Beck, a highly respected professor of anthropology, studies famous historical documents. So, Dr. Beck, a highly respected professor of anthropology, studies famous historical documents. And if we were to select the one word, only one word, is it option one, highly, or option two, A, which is our adverb? One word. And if we were to select the correct option, and if we were to select the correct option, we can say highly. It tells us how. So yes, option one, well done, is correct. Highly. The next one says, although Mr. Oliver last noticed his appointment book on his desk, he easily could have left it elsewhere. So we need to select three adverbs. Although Mr. Oliver last noticed his appointment book on his desk, he easily could have left it elsewhere. So is it option one, last, easily, or elsewhere? Or is it option two, last, easily, or noticed? All right, and if we were to select the correct option, then we will say it's option one, last, easily, elsewhere. So truly, ever, seldom, option one. Or do we say very seldom plays, option two? So if we were to select our three adverbs, right? Although Alec truly enjoys tennis, he very seldom plays the game. So is it option one, which is truly, very, or seldom? Or option two, where we say it's very seldom plays? All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, we can say when it comes to our adverbs, truly, a very seldom it tells us how something is done, or when something is being done, or where something is being done. All right, we need to select the three adverbs. Three adverbs. It says, my landlord, who is amazingly handy, just fixed my leaky faucet and promised to repair my stove tomorrow. So when we select the three adverbs, is it amazingly, option one, handy, just, or option two, amazingly, tomorrow, just? All right, and if we were to select our three adverbs that basically tells us, like our adverbs, it says, my landlord, who is amazingly handy, just fixed my leak, faucet, and problems, and promised to repair my stove tomorrow. And if we were to select the correct options, we can say it is amazingly handy, just. Oh, tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow is also our adverb. So tomorrow, option two is actually correct. Sorry, because that tells us when. Something that tells us when, that tells us where, tells us how. That is basically adverbs. All right, so that is the end of our lesson on adverbs. Thank you very much, grade 6s, for joining the class. And I really hope that you are going to have a good day further. So, till next time, goodbye. All right, so this is the end of our lesson. Goodbye.